Hey everyone, we are here at the 2017 ABA Tech Show in Chicago with Jason Marsh, digital marketing expert and consultant from Marsh8 Media in Orlando, Florida, our hometown as well, next to Miami. So Jason, tell us a little bit about how you guys started in the marketing agency and what you guys do right now.
Yeah, so we're a digital marketing firm, but I don't know, I started out where I think like when I first started in business, it was just general sort of marketing firm. It was early days of internet marketing, and then just had more and more people say, hey, can you set up this ad campaign?
Early 2000s.
Yeah, not quite that early. Yeah, more like, mid to late 2000s, but still, I mean, more and more people are, hey, can you build a website? Can you set up an ad campaign? Can you do SEO? All these things. Yeah. And I just started saying, yeah, no problem. We can take that.
Yeah, just learning.
Yeah, he's figuring it all out. And then over time just said, well, this is where the business is going. And so decided to specialize in that. And then over time, really just started focusing more heavily into the legal market. So I'd say, attorneys probably make up maybe, about 80% of the customer base.
Amazing. Yeah. So a lot of attorneys want to get more traffic to their site. There's Bing ads, YouTube ads, Twitter ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, all these ads. It's overwhelming. What do you recommend they do if they're trying to start one avenue?
Well, I think probably, the number one, the way I always say, like really when it comes to internet marketing, the number 1A and 1B channels are Google advertising and Google organic search in whatever order. And that's only because it's a high intent channel. In other words, somebody's going into Google and typing in, divorce lawyer, Chicago. And, conversely, as an advertiser, you can run ads against, that person's expression of interest. And so that's what makes it so effective versus some of the other channels, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or anything else.
They're not really looking. On Facebook, they're just browsing for friends and, here's an ad. They're not really searching for that.
Yeah, the intent isn't there.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but conversely, whereas, Google's high intent, there's, 4 ads at the top of the page, couple, there's, 20 things on the page, all your competitors, so people are clicking in and out of this stuff. Whereas, advertise on Facebook, one, it's a little bit cheaper, quite a bit cheaper. But at the same time, somebody sees your ad, they're not going to see, 10 other ads for other attorneys. So
there's no more sidebar ads on Google, I don't think, anymore. Are there?
No, those have been gone. Those have been gone for a while. Yeah. So now it's just the 4 at the top and
4 at the bottom,
a few down at the bottom, depending on mobile or desktop format. But
so, what do you recommend? So, a lot of attorneys that I speak to, they'll typically try to go out on their own. Oh yeah, Google has this. What is it called? Like Adwords Express.
Yeah, I've never used that, but I know people set that up, and
it usually never works out for them. They spend $1,000, they learn the lesson the hard way, and they never do it again.
That I've definitely seen where that does happen, and I'm not sure. I probably should go in and see what's going on in Adwords Express.
It's so bad. There's let us take your money one time, and you're never going to work with us again.
Yeah,
and we'll blame it on your website.
Yeah, which is weird. You would think they'd want. I think they do try to make it easy for people to start, but at the end of the day, it is somewhat of a complex platform, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can lose a bunch of money real quick. And they're happy to just take it from you.
So for everyone listening, read a book on it, hire an expert, outsource it, but you have to, you can't just do it yourself and think you're going to get good results. I have not seen it work out.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing, I think if I had to guess what people are screwing up in there, they're probably, number one, they're targeting the wrong keywords. And they're probably using the wrong match types, so they're pulling in a lot of really low quality clicks, and low quality clicks are not going to lead to phone calls and just new inquiries to the firm. So I would guess that's probably the place to start. And obviously there's a lot of other things that you can do to improve it. But.
So you said also there's the 2 main ones are Google Ads where you can pay for, and Google Organic where you don't pay for. Your website is ranking naturally for these keywords. So how does one go about starting to get on the top of Google themselves? Is there a way?
Yeah, there's a way. And a lot of times, if I'm talking to a lawyer, especially maybe a newer practice where if you're not fully booked out, in terms of billable time all week, and you have additional hours, obviously I got some administrative for marketing. I think the first place to start is developing content, right? So
on your blog.
Yeah, on your blog, and it doesn't even have to be a blog, just articles on your site that cover all the different facets of the practice area you deal with, but really good articles, really detailed articles, that are going to be better than what your competitors might have, because that's what Google is going to reward. They're basically looking for a user relevancy.
Right.
What's relevant to what the user's looking for, and then they're basically going to order the sites by who's got the best. And there's other factors there, but I think the first best thing to do is form a really good foundation of content.
Right. And if they're writing a blog post, they shouldn't just write like 5 tips. They should write like 5 things to ask a family law attorney in Chicago. Would that be better to write a blog post around that with that title? Because people would search for that? Like a long tail keyword search term?
Yeah, I mean, I think, if you're in Chicago, you definitely want to include
that city.
Yeah, you definitely want, because that's a relevancy factor, and the algorithm's going to be
Local.
looking. Yeah, exactly. They're going to be looking at that site and see, okay, this is Chicago related.
Right.
But I would say, even without getting super hung up, in the
Keywords,
sort of the keyword stuff, it's quality. And people, how often should I write a blog? And again, it's really quality over quantity.
Right.
So I would say, like, rather than trying to write something that's
for the robots. Write for the humans more than the robots.
Yeah, instead of something like crappy, once a week, write like a really good thing that's 2,000 words plus once a month. Take some time to write it.
Okay.
And
turn it into a white paper, send it to your customers.
Yeah. So now you've
repurpose it.
Yeah, exactly. You write a piece of content, turn it into an ebook that people can download, send it to clients, use it in your ad campaigns, and create a infographic out of it. You can repurpose it a number of different ways.
Okay, cool. So Google also has a way that you can list your business online, which is really good for local. I think now it used to be called Google Places, and now it's called Google My Business.
Yeah, exactly.
So they can go to google.com/business.
I don't know what the URL is.
Okay,
just go to Google. But it is called Google My Business, and so just Google.
So what does it do for an attorney exactly? You're a local attorney in Chicago practicing family law. So if you're just getting set up, that's certainly one of like the first directories that you want to set up with. So go to that site and register your business. They send you a postcard in the mail to verify your address.
Or they can sometimes, if they already have some, so they aggregate information from other sources online. So in some cases, you might find that your business is already listed and it's just a matter of claiming it. If the business is listed and has a phone number,
they'll call and you'll verify.
Then you can verify it by phone. It's quick.
Cool.
Otherwise, the postcard, and that takes, a week or so. And you do that. But then once you've done that, at a minimum, now you're in Google's local business directory. That's tied into the maps and also tied into their local, that 3-pack listing you see, right?
And you want to get reviews, obviously. So you're...
Yeah, and so then that's the next place. That's the place you get the reviews. And so typically what I would encourage people to do is whenever your client, you've finished handling a matter for them, whenever they're at like the peak of their happiness with the work they've done, that's when you hit them up for hey, would you mind? And if you could send them a link, that opens that little review box up for it, make it super easy. Not everybody's going to do it. In fact, most of the clients aren't going to do it. But if you have a regular practice of just asking, or just letting people know, I think technically you're not supposed to ask for a review.
Oh, really?
I think in the anyway. But
thank you for your business. If you want, here's
just
where you can
let them know. Hey, if you'd like to review us, here's where you do
so
it.
check your ethics rules and your state.
Something like that. I think it's more of a Google policy or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But basically, you just want to give people a chance to review you, and and a lot of times, even if you get like half a dozen reviews, that's more than most of the other attorneys that you might be competing with.
I mean, the goal is that if someone's searching for family law attorney in Chicago, you're going to see who your competitors are, and if they have 10 reviews, you better have at least 10 reviews also. Otherwise, they're going to probably choose them.
Yeah,
mindset.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe you don't have to have quite as many, but you definitely need to have some.
Okay.
And they need to be good too. So so it only has to happy people.
So I heard you, I think, speak maybe a year ago at the Wild Tech Show in Florida, and you were giving a talk about marketing your company, and you mentioned that if you're posting an ad on Facebook, you have to get it approved by the Florida bar. It's like an ethics thing. Is that true? Is that still relevant today?
You know what?
Not sure.
I don't know, to be honest with you. I think technically you may need to get it approved by the Florida bar.
But check your local state laws.
Yeah, whatever your state is. I mean, and I'm trying to remember exactly how Florida's got.
You can't say like we are the best. We are. Okay,
that's the biggest thing, just from an ethical standpoint, is you just have to avoid. And this is almost across the board. Maybe some states differ, but the biggest thing you can't do is make claims that are not independently verifiable. So, saying, you're the best. In some cases, you can't even say you're an expert. Some states you can say that, or you specialize.
Oh, interesting.
But there's certain words at certain, state bars would consider unethical, and you could potentially get a letter. And
oh my God! So you're like the also the optimization expert, conversion expert, as far as website goes. So I'm sure you and I have both seen a lot of bad websites. Are there any easy, quick fixes that people can do to rank higher in Google? H1 tags, title tags.
Yeah, there's always, I would say a couple of things. Number one, you want to make sure your website's built on a good WordPress. Platform. WordPress is pretty universal. Unless
What's your take on Wix, by the way?
I don't really know it well.
Okay.
I mean, we exclusively use WordPress.
Yeah, us too.
It may be good, maybe not. I just haven't looked at it. But the thing about the biggest thing is you want to be on a good platform, and it needs to be mobile.
Yep.
Have a mobile version of it, mobile responsive, whatever it is.
Searching on their phones these days.
Yeah, so that's the biggest thing. Yep. Get good hosting. Yep. Instead of economy hosting, we like WordPress or WP Engine. Yeah, because it's managed WordPress hosting. Yeah, it's automatic updates and plugin updates. Yeah, and the biggest thing is security and speed. So your site's going to load quicker. Google likes that. Sites that are really slow and sluggish are going to potentially be penalized. Certainly, in the mobile. Rankings. So that's an important factor. Okay, hosting is good. So you can buy your website on GoDaddy, and then you could host it with WP Engine. Yeah, I'm not sure you buy. Can you buy? I guess buy a domain on GoDaddy, and then host it. Yeah, you buy the domain, then you point the name service to WP Engine, but they could probably help you figure all that fun stuff. Yeah, totally. So you can. Yeah, and I think GoDaddy's good for. Getting domains and even listen, if you want to cheap out in the hosting, GoDaddy's fine. I'm cool with GoDaddy. The one thing that's good about them, you ever call it, you always can get somebody on the phone. Yeah, they're a big company. Yeah. So whereas some of the smaller hosting companies, they only chat with you or that's, email every 24 hours, annoying. Ticketing systems. Yeah, your website's down. Oh, please send us a ticket. Yeah, great, terrific. Use more business. So. To sum it up, where do you see, this is a loaded question, where do you see the future, where do you see the future of online marketing going? Do you think Google will still be the dominant player? Yeah, unfortunately, I do think they're going to be the dominant player. I think I even read something recently that their market share is maybe increased. But the thing that's frustrating about that is it doesn't create too many good advertising alternatives. So you're really the price keeps going up and up. Demand every time additional lawyers get into the fray, the cost of those clicks, just the overall cost of advertising keeps going up and up. Winner is Google, loser is the consumers of the advertising. So I think that's just going to continue. And I think Facebook has a chance at potentially cracking in that as their interest targeting gets better. It's pretty intense these days. Yeah, it's pretty intense, but I think their interest targeting doesn't even come close to the key Google's keyword, the high intent targeting we talked about before. But I think there's potential for that, and especially as people are searching for things in Facebook, they're going to aggregate that information and then resell that to advertisers. So I think there's potential there, and Facebook certainly has its place in advertising and can be useful in some ways, but. I think it's going to be, we'll have to find out. Next year, we'll give you the update from 2018. Yeah. All right, Jason Marsh from Marsh8. Your website's marsh8.com. Yep, exactly. marsh.com. So if you're thinking about doing anything on your own and you're lost, this is the guy to know. Your email address is? Jason@marsh8.com. I also have a newsletter you can subscribe to. It's marsh8.com/subscribe. Just put out information on tips and how-tos and just different things with internet marketing. Amazing. Thank you for being with us today. I appreciate it. Thank you. You got it.